Sports. I used to really like them, but these days, I don't really know how to feel about them. I've actually had some pretty crazy things happen to me during my sporty days. When I was like 8 years old, my brother Steven and I attended a weekly local sports class that was coached by this big bald guy who I'll call John. Usually these classes were about 2 hours long, and we did a huge variety of sports in them. We sometimes did basketball for a month, and then did something like track and field for the next month. There were usually at least a dozen other kids about the same age as us who also went to this class. I remember that when we played these sports, that Coach John usually separated us into 2 teams, and he always put Steven and me on opposite teams. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that he did that every time, because he did do it every time. I don't even remember a single instance where Steven and I were on the same team. My mom even talked to Coach John about it. Hey coach, by the way, is there any way you could have my sons play on the same team? I've noticed that they're never on the same team. Oh sure, don't worry, I'll put them on the same team in this class. Okay, cool, thanks. But then instead of putting us on the same team like he said he was going to do, he just put us on opposite teams just like every single time before that. And I remembered that I was insanely competitive when it came to these sports classes. I felt like I had to win or else the world was going to end. And this feeling only intensified with my brother on the opposite team. I just could not fathom losing to him in these classes. I just couldn't even handle the thought. So with all that motivation, you'd think that I'd just put the team on my back and carry them to victory, right? Well, actually it ended up being the complete opposite. Even though I was doing everything I could to help my team win, I lost basically every time. I think other than one baseball game, my team lost every time. I don't know, maybe I won more, but all I can remember is just losing, and some more losing. There were some pretty crazy kids in the sports class. One of them was this kid Levi, and I'm telling you, this kid was freaking crazy. This one time, Coach John was late for the class. Like really late, like more than an hour late. But everybody else got there on time, so we were all just waiting around for Coach John to arrive. So while we were waiting, my mom got out a little rolled up picnic blanket for us to sit on while we waited. But that idea went completely out the window when Levi stole the blanket from my mom, ran up a hill, and threw it into a tree. When this happened, I asked my mom, shouldn't we tell him to give it back? And she was like, no, we're going to wait until Coach John gets here. And when he does, he will deal with it. So should I get the blanket from Levi? No, wait down here until Coach John arrives. But what my 8-year-old brain heard was, oh yeah, sure, go get it. So that's what I did. It seemed that Levi had put a lot of thought into this evil plan of his. The blanket was located in a tree, which was on top of a hill, which was being guarded by half the kids in the class, and on top of it, Levi was chasing Steven and me around with a stick. A freaking stick! Which for a kid really hurt. So first we tried to reason with him. Give us the blanket back. It doesn't belong to you.
If you want it back, then you'll have to take it from me.
So when we realized that that wasn't going to work, we had to resort to his option, taking it by force. Now these kids weren't messing around with their guarding. They would not let up. And even when I was able to get past one of them, they would tackle me from behind. It was ridiculous. After multiple attempts to get to the tree, Steven and I came up with a plan. Steven would run around and distract Levi and his minions while I ran to the top of the hill as fast as I could. So we put this plan into action. Steven did his best to distract them, and they actually took the bait and went after him, which allowed me to reach the top of the hill. But what I wasn't anticipating was a kid guarding the tree itself. So when she saw me coming, she grabbed the blanket and was like, no, you can't have it. What do you mean I can't have it? It belongs to my mom. Levi literally stole it from her. Wait, really? He did? Yes, that's why I'm participating in this stupidity to begin with. Wow, I actually didn't know that. Yeah, well, can I have the blanket now? Well, I mean, I don't know. Levi said that I had to guard it, so... Come on, really? Levi's freaking crazy. He's the last person you want to listen to. I mean, he's the evil genius behind this whole fiasco. Yeah, but...
Andrew, what the heck are you doing up there? Hurry up!
Alright, I gotta go. Good talk. And just then, Levi saw me on the hill and I booked it from my mom. So I'm sprinting down the hill, and Levi is right behind me with his stick of death in hand. And as I'm running, I can imagine a few possible scenarios that could happen when I give the blanket to my mom. Levi would either leave me alone and run away, or he would do something stupid like attack me with his dumb stick in front of everybody. And it ended up being the latter. When I stopped to give my mom the blanket, Levi went right up to me and started hitting me. And he wasn't just tapping me, he was hitting me as hard as he could. And it really hurt. And this is happening in front of all the parents. Eventually, Levi stopped attacking me and ran off. But just a note, do you know what the parents of those kids were doing while this ridiculousness was happening? They were talking the entire time. They literally weren't even paying attention. They didn't even care. If that's not horrible parenting, then I don't know what is. Yeah, that sports class was pretty crazy. Let me know if you guys want me to make another video about it, because the stories I told in this video were just the tip of the iceberg.